Let us begin. All right. Hello, 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 hello. The $1,000,000 question, the one I've been asking for 2.5 years. Am I up? Yep, looks like I am. All right, well, guys, today is a sad day. As usual, we'll start slow. Today's a very sad day, to be honest with you. My local bar burned down. No, I am not kidding. Griff's, Griffs on Montrose, the oldest sports bar in Houston, is no more. It burned down on Friday. Now, I'm not going to say it was the best sports bar in Houston, but it had a couple of benefits. Benefit number one, it was 3 blocks away, which was always an easy staggering distance, if you know what I mean. The pool tables all had a certain tilt to them, you know. And that cigarette and urine smell, man, I got to tell you, it was home for me. Anyway, Griff's is gone, and I'm sorry to see that it's gone, but you know what? We will find another bar. Blue Lantern, good to see you, man. And we will become bigger and better for this. I think the worst part about COVID, people don't talk about this, about COVID, is that COVID, could I be gutsy enough to say the things we did to keep COVID down have reduced the number of restaurants and bars in the United States by 50%. Half of them are gone. Was it worth it? I don't know. Probably, sure. But am I at least allowed to be sad? I used to be able to walk from this house right here. I lived pretty much inner city Houston. I used to be able to walk to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bars and or restaurants with a bar. That were within about 4 blocks of my house. They're all gone except for one, which is sad. I'm not sure I want to blame COVID on all this. And I'm not even sure I want to blame a lot of restrictions that we made, which you may or may not agree with. You know, I wear masks. I'm not against masks. But I hope the lesson that we're going to learn when this happens again, and it will, is what is the cost? I read once, I don't remember where it was, that every time unemployment goes up by 1%, that 40,000 extra people commit suicide. I can't quote that, but it's a substantial number. And I measure my life by certain things that have taken place. For example, I measure myself, where was I before John Lennon died versus after? That'd be 1980. I remember the moon landing. I was young, but I remember that. But the other one I'm going to remember is before versus after COVID. This very different world that we live in. This different. We're going to keep it as different. I had something else happen to me today that was really upsetting to me, and that was that we had a live stream. I don't even know if it was a live stream. It was a video we did back in 2015. 2015 that got a copyright strike on it because we had the audacity to use free to use YouTube music on it. It was the 1 millionth A+ certification. And we all talked about it a little bit. And we decided it's just better to take it down. Yeah, just take it down. It was the 1 millionth person. This was back in 2015. So not only did we get a hickey from YouTube, but better than that, we also got hit with a phishing attack on it at the same time. So this very sophisticated phishing attack that saw that we were taking a YouTube hickey and then went ahead and I ended up having to clean my system. I got caught on it. And It was frustrating to me. Different world we're in, kids. And then on top of that, I've been watching Community. I don't know if you guys ever watch Community at all. It's a great show. And, sorry, I'm trying to get my phone to shut up a little bit here. What is this app that's making all this noise? Teams. One moment, please. Yeah, we're going to pay top dollar to watch Mike Meyers jack with his phone. Okay, there we go. So, what was I saying? I literally just forgot. Oh, well. It'll come back to me in a minute. So it's been an interesting day, to say the least. Oh, I remember. I like watching Community a lot. I don't know if you've ever watched Community. It's a great series, and I hear there's a movie coming out. And they had this motif throughout the series, 6 seasons in a movie. And they did 6 seasons. I think the last season ended like 2014 or something like that. And now they're coming out with a movie, which is great, but that's not germane to what I was actually wanting to talk about. What I wanted to talk about today is, do you guys know who the comedian Chevy Chase is? So Chevy Chase was part of the original Saturday Night Live team back in 1974. He did the Fletch movies, National Lampoon's Vacation, and a lot of other very forgettable movies. But anyway, he is the token baby boomer on this television show. All right, so we have a baby boomer. And Chevy Chase only did like 3 seasons, then bailed. He just got really upset about it. And I started to I thought that he was being a jerk. Why would Chevy Chase bail on what a wonderful series, kind of a fun series? And I start watching the Chevy Chase character over the first 3 seasons. And he's like this hilariously racist, narcissistic character. And it was like, okay. I think I know what got Chevy Chase mad. And that was, all these boomers are bad. So I'm a boomer. Barely made it, but I am a boomer. And I guess, I want to be hip to what's happening today. So I don't really have anything to be offended about. So what I'm going to decide to do now is I'm going to decide to grasp my group membership, because good Lord, don't ever measure a person by what they do, what they say, how they act. Measure them by their group, because that's how today's society works. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to now become a full-blown boomer, and I'm going to get really offended by things. And I got to tell you, it's refreshing. It feels good. Taking on victimhood. No self-accountability. I'm having a good time with it. So, I don't know where I'm going today, guys. It's, I had a lot of bad things happen today. It stunk. I want to do something fun. And instead, I kind of got slapped around a little bit. So I'm just going to be crabby too. What do you think, guys? We'll all be crabby together. Yeah, so we'll see. All right, I'll get off my hall horse. Dave Rush is not texting me telling me to shut up, so that's a good sign. Hi, my name's Mike Meyers, and welcome to the Monday edition of the Mike Meyers live stream, Ask Mike Anything. The goal of this live stream is to provide those of us who are studying for CompTIA certifications an opportunity to continue their studies, and if they want to ask questions right from the source, I'm right here for you. So the trick here is you type in questions into the chat window, and I will do my best to answer them for you. Keep in mind, it's kind of a one-way thing. I do my best guess here. I've got Dave Rush in the background helping me out. But on the same token, it's only a 1-hour thing. We start at 2 o'clock Central Time, and we move till 3 o'clock Central Time, or until I'm done pontificating. No, I'm kidding. Or until the questions run out. So we're probably going to have a shorter day today. We'll see how it times out. I'm going to continue to be doing my show on Wednesday as well at 2 o'clock, but I almost guarantee you that next Wednesday at 2 o'clock will be the last time for that time frame. I'm almost certainly looking to move that one into a more evening time frame, moving it back about 4 hours later to give more people in the United States an opportunity to attend. So keep that in mind. All right, so let's see what people are reacting to me getting on a soapbox here. Nobody's slamming me. That's a good sign. Yeah, COVID has had another surge. We have a surge here in Houston as well. Luckily it's whatever the current version du jour is, and it doesn't seem to be nearly as bad. Blue Lantern, Mike, I love your shirt. I'm sorry to hear about that bar. Yeah, me too. This is Woody's Smokehouse in Centerville, Texas. And if you're a Texan and you live in Houston, you find yourself driving to Dallas quite a bit. It's about a 4-hour drive from Houston to Dallas. Centerville is aptly named because it's pretty much right dab in the middle between Houston and Dallas. And it has Woody's Smokehouse, which is one of the reasons I live in Texas, is a good Texas smokehouse. So not only do you get good jerky and brisket and smoked tenderloin and smoked cheddar cheese and all that, but things that most people have never heard of. How many of you guys ever heard of chow chow? Chow chow is this wonderful condiment. I think it's a Texas thing. I'm not going to make any claim. Andre's probably going to tell me it comes from Belgium or something like that. I don't know. But the bottom line is that all these pickles and stuff and fudge, and if you ever want to understand why Americans are obese, you just need to check out a good smokehouse, preferably one in Texas. Get yourself some good kolaches. Yeah, Texans don't know what a kolache is, by the way. So for most of y'all, when you say kolache, you're thinking of a little sweet pastry that tends to be square-shaped with a little dab of cream cheese or lemon or cherry or raspberry in the middle. And those are kolaches in Texas. But we have this whole other kind of kolache. And this kolache, which we think is Czechoslovakian, it's basically a piece of sausage or a piece of cheese or some ham in a bun. So you look at this thing, it looks like just a bun. But when you bite it, there's goodness in it. So we have two kinds of kolaches here in Texas, that's for sure. David Gomez, how's it going, man? Where was Mike on Friday? I was at home. Andre, Blue Rhythm. Friday was so sad without Dave Rush in my life. Yeah, Dave is moving on and bigger and better things, but he's still going to be with us and working behind the scenes. And thank goodness for that. Dave, love you to death, man. Yeah, Dave Rush is like, I want to be crabby too. Dave, I'm mad. I'm just a bar I really like burned down. And again, it wasn't that great of a bar, but it was close. And I don't know. Let's move on. I only allow so much time for me to go, wee, wee, wee. No. I got to grasp my inner victimhood. I can do this. I'm a victim. Yeah, I can't. I try. I try. All right. Yeah, start my own bar. There's a way to lose money. Benjamin, hey, Mike, I start my first IT job next week. Thanks to you, Benjamin. Man, big round of applause to you, brother. That's the stuff I love to hear. I mean, that's literally why I'm here. Patricia Grace, no. Okay. Dave Rush, not worth it. 85% of y'all got to go. Yeah, I'm a Bill Burr fan too also, Dave Rush. I know that reference. 85% of y'all need to go to the beach and keep walking. Yeah, I know that reference. Fahmi Alarazi, am I saying it right? I'm sorry. Fahmi Alarazi, that sounds Iranian. Fahmi, if you're Persian/Iranian, I want you to know that my big brother is Iranian, really. Like, he was born in the States. His name was Davar Panazar when he was born. Now he calls himself Dave Meyers. My dad adopted him. But if you're Iranian and you like good Iranian food, I can make, it doesn't pronounce well in English. Kharesh babanjan, which is like this wonderful eggplant stew. And so my mom learned to cook all these great Iranian dishes. So I can still cook kharesh, and I can make tadig as well, which is delicious rice. And I'm just guessing your name is Iranian. It sounds very Iranian. I hope I'm right. God, Iranians, man, they make some good food, like crazy good food. You know, it's kind of Greek a little bit. You know, there's a lot of lamb and stuff like that, a lot of rice, but they'll eat potatoes. Honestly, if you made me eat only one geographical area of food, just send me around the Mediterranean, man. I swear to God, you know, good Spanish food, good Italian food, good Greek food, Lebanese food, Okay, Iran isn't quite there. Turkish food, the Israelis, they just copy everybody else. They make good hummus. Egyptians make good food. Northern Africa, God, if really, I'm serious, guys, there is no bad food going around the Mediterranean at all. Mommy, let me know if I'm right about where you're from. I'm just curious. Oh, see, there I go. Dave, I did it again, man. I actually reference where somebody's from. Yeah. I'm getting real crabby about this society. I swear to God, guys, I don't know what I'm going to do. No. Blue Lantern. Measure before versus... Oh, good Lord. Blue Lantern, of course, before and 9 after 9/11. I can't believe I even forgot that. You are absolutely correct. I'm that bish. Oh, careful. How long does it take a newbie to use your program to pass the CompTIA Plus exam? So I'm going to gamble you're talking about A+. We don't have a program. I almost don't like that word. I sell books, I sell videos, and I sell practice questions, which are, in my opinion, the 3 things most everybody needs to pass any kind of certification. Not just, if you're doing nursing certification, you still need those 3 products. I believe in the power of self-study. So what I put in the front of all of my books, and again, I'm assuming you're talking A+, is you need roughly 220 hours for the average person. And when I say average, you have average study skills, you have average IT experience. I put tables in the front of my books that say, well, if you have this much experience, well, if you have none of that, add some. You have a little, or you have a lot, then deduct them. So I've seen anything from 140 hours to 800 hours. And everybody's different. So I'm not going to put that on you. I do not have a program. I have products that you create your program to have your own success. But always show up here and we can talk about it all you want. So I'm always, when you hear me go quiet, guys, it's because I'm looking for questions. I'm Chevy Chase and you're not. Hola, Cooney, good to see you, brother. Oh, big scroll, huge scroll. Yeah, so I'm watching Andre. Andre, it's interesting to see what's going on in Europe right now. I didn't realize that Germany had shut down pretty much all of its nuclear reactors and had gone to natural gas and is now digging up all this prime land just to get enough lignite to run some power plants. I'm not super anti-nuclear, folks. It's really stupid for the Japanese to put a power plant in a tsunami zone. That was not smart. It was really dumb for the Russians in 1986 to forget to put a containment vessel, for crying out loud, around their RWS reactors. If you haven't seen the Chernobyl series on HBO, I can't recommend it enough. But I'm actually pro-nuclear power. I think it can be done a little bit better. But you know, I don't want to lie, but France was running something like 90% nuclear power up until the early 90s and then have started shutting it down. Suddenly, France isn't shutting down any more nuclear plants. I wonder why. But I'm not saying nuclear is perfect, but I mean, if you want to trash the earth, the amount of cobalt and lithium that's being extracted from the earth. People talk about blood diamonds all the time. Get on YouTube and type in blood lithium and all, you know, these huge open air mines with little children who are digging up cobalt and lithium with their bare hands. Yeah, okay. I don't like the idea of anybody making anything evil. Anything, technology, there's plenty of evil people out there, don't get me wrong, myself probably included. But to just vilify technologies because some animal farm, 4 legs good, 2 legs bad chat goes on is infuriating to me. It's one of the big reasons I've quit having political or environmental discussions, because there's this wave of, if you have the audacity to have contrary opinions, you're shut down. And so I just don't say anything anymore. So yeah, I'm probably going to get demonetized, like I'm making any money on this anyway, because I said that I might like nuclear power. I don't like nuclear power. I mean, I wish we could just, you know, I don't know, plant tulips everywhere and it would generate 115 volts, but it doesn't happen. Sean Slocum votes for a later one on Wednesday. Sean, we're going to be doing, Wednesday's going to be later. I don't know exactly what time, but I will know by next Wednesday. I want to talk with Dave and see what we can pull off. Fami, again, is there any difference between the A-plus book, 10th and 11th edition for studying? There is dramatic difference. So I think you're talking about the all-in-one or the hardcover book. That one covers the A-plus 220, 1001, and 1002. Those are retired. So we're now having the A-plus 220, 1101, and A-plus 220, 1102. That's been retired since April? Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, that book, is there enough in there to help me pass? That's like going up to a guy who says, I can play golf with you with only 3 clubs. And it's like, well, okay, use only 3 clubs playing golf. So you play with 3 clubs. If he wins, he's like, hey, I beat you with only 3 clubs. And if he loses, he goes, hey, I only had 3 clubs. Use the right tools. And I'm sorry if you bought the old book and you didn't take it, but you got it. You got to take the new, you got to stay with the new stuff. And not just the book. Make sure you have the proper videos. Make sure you have the proper test questions. Reeves. Hello, everyone. Hello, Reeves. Jeremy Parker. I'm Cajun. Love me some po' boys. Jeremy, I was in New Orleans over the New Year's Eve, and I ate the best po' boy I've ever had. And I've eaten a few po' boys. And down here, we got a lot of Vietnamese folks, so we eat a ton of banh mi, too. So I know my sandwiches. And I got to tell you, New Orleans, hard to beat, man. Nice, fresh shrimp. Had just been fried. The shrimp are still a little warm. A little bit of mayonnaise, a little bit of remoulade. Good stuff. Yes, lettuce. Yes, tomato, of course. My problem with Cajun food, Jeremy, more than anything else, is it's not so much in Louisiana you see this, but it's more in Texas, is that people want to see how hot they can make it. I'm not against crawfish. I'll eat crawfish when there isn't any shrimp around, don't get me wrong. But I'll go to some crawfish boil, and for those, crawfish is like this little crustacean. It's like a little tiny lobster, kind of like. Anyway, they're very popular in the South. And I'll go to some crawfish boil, and some of them I start walking up and my eyes start burning. I'm not even going to try that stuff. But normally there'll be like pieces of potato and corn on the cob in it. I'll grab one of those, take a bite, just to see how hot it is. Louisiana people don't make it as hot as Texas do. I don't know what it is. So the other funny part is like a lot of folks from Mexico. So, and we're talking, from everywhere. You've got folks in, nobody knows the states of Mexico, okay? So Quintana Roo is kind of like out in the Caribbean. And they make delicious, lots of fish and lots of fruit in it. Or you go down to Oaxaca and they have beans and tortillas. But it's when you come up just along the border is, in my opinion, the only place where really hot food is. So when people say Mexican food's hot, I'm like, you haven't really had Mexican food. You have what we call Tex-Mex. And Tex-Mex has its place. Don't get me wrong, I'm not anti-Tex-Mex, but all these people who just, put napalm in their food for no reason, I don't get it. I like a little spice in my food. Don't get me wrong. I got a lovely selection of hot sauces, and I use them and enjoy them. Habanero, to me, is one of the most delicious flavors on earth. But I just don't make it so hot that, you're sweating and and all that stuff. How did I get off on this tangent? I'm going to blame Jeremy Parker on that one. Sean Slocum, I'm testing for the 220-1101 on Tuesday. It'll be my first exam since high school. Any testing tips? Sean, the #1 testing tip is relax. When are you taking it? Thursday. Sean, if at all possible, try not to study Wednesday after about noon. I'm serious. The #1 reason people fail CompTIA exams is test anxiety. Sean, the first few questions you're going to run into are going to be beta questions. They're going to be ungraded. I can't guarantee you they'll be the first questions. I'm not talking about the performance base. These are usually multiple choice questions. And if you, Sean, you see a question on the A+ exam and it just like comes out of completely right field and you're like, I've never heard that. Don't, it's just a beta question. Chillax. Try to answer it as best you can, but it's almost certainly ungraded. CompTIA is very rarely throws in questions that we don't know about. Sometimes we may not hit the topic exactly the way CompTIA wants us to, but they do a pretty good job on their objectives and letting us know what people want. So be cool. Take it easy, man. Number one reason that people fail CompTIA exams is test anxiety. So enjoy. Take it easy. It's not a big deal. That's the biggest thing I can tell you. SWILQ. Any good sites for general knowledge that you use, like a list of bookmarks that you're working on issues at certain sites to find answers. No, I don't go. The problem is that answers are very tricky to come by. So let's just say I'm working on something and I get an actual error code. I love error codes. Error codes are magical and happy because I can take an error code, cut and paste it, and do a search on it. No matter how often you think, there's already 12,000 people who have already suffered through whatever you're suffering through. So the secret is to find them. Usually the place you're going to end up going, particularly for hardware, is going to be going to the support forums on that particular piece of hardware. Asus has wonderful ones. Gigabyte, okay. Intel, but so if I'm working on an issue, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, if there's an error code, I'm literally going to put that error code right into a Google search and go for it. Now, a lot of you guys know that I slam Google quite a bit because it's a little bit big brother for me, and it is. But there are certain times when I will turn off, like I use Start Page as my primary search engine. But for stuff like that, I will usually go to a pure www.google.com search just because I think Google drills down a little bit better. And okay, Start Page is a Google search, but they do something that doesn't make it as good. But there is, I'm not looking for individual sites, particularly for troubleshooting. They may have existed 10, maybe 15 years ago, but they don't exist. Go to the source of the problem, and that's going to be your best bet every time. Microsoft actually does a pretty good job on support forums, as long as you can get past the one or two Microsoft experts, you know, the MVPs who, you know, basically don't answer the question with an answer. Reeves, got my second promotion since beginning my job in a year. Reeves, that's how it all works. See, I tell people, once you get your foot in your door, if you can show competency, if you can show dependability, if you can show accountability, and if you're a person who speaks the truth and you have a good work ethic, the IT industry, it's probably true for any industry, but the IT industry opens doors for you. It always has. And it's just a matter of getting out there and putting a little effort in. And Reeves, you're once again, yet another success story. Congratulations to you, sir. Blue Lantern. My buddy spent every day since he was 17 high. How long is 17 high? Yet he thinks his economic failures are him being a victim on yeah, Blue Lantern, I kind of got to agree with you. And, you know, I don't want to go into detail, but I'm totally not against what your friend did. But my concerns about marijuana more than anything else is that, and remember, I'm a libertarian. If you're not hurting anybody, you should be able to do it. But my challenges with any kind of recreational drug is that young minds should avoid it. And I've seen too many people suffer. Like, dude. But anyway, Blue Lantern, that's almost really not what you're saying, is it? I mean, it's just popular to be a victim now. You know, those boomers, they had it easy. Whatever. But I agree with you. You kids, get off my lawn. Andre, the number one reason people fail their tests is because they give the wrong answer too often. You are technically correct, but you have no friends. We have those American crawfish. And Andre, you have them over there. I don't understand what the attraction is to that stuff. Give me some lobster, I'll eat that. Give me some good Texas Gulf shrimp, I'll eat that. But crawfish, there's a reason people call them mud bugs, man. So there's lots of good answers on advice. Take advantage of all that's on there. Okay, a couple of quick things. Number one, how are we doing on time? It's already 2:30. Have I been ranting too much? Seriously, tell me. If I'm getting too ranty, tell me to say, shut up, Boomer. I won't be offended. And Dave Rush, don't you cancel those if people say that. But I don't know. I'm just mad because my bar burned down. That straight up is the answer. Lloyd Christmas, good to see you again, man. Okay, so first of all, do keep in mind that we do have a Discord server, folks. Especially, I see we got some new faces in here today. Join the Discord server. We got a link in there for you. It's a great place. We got lots of good texts. Tolowit, Andre, Dave Rush, any of those guys I would go toe-to-toe with me happily are on there a lot. Feel free to drop in. The Discord server is particularly nice if you turn on your camera and your microphone. So a lot of times you can have some real-time support. Don't expect free tech support. Expect free help, but not free tech support. This is a very important thing. I won't give you the answers if I see that you're having a problem with a wireless access point. I'm not going to give you the answer, but I'm going to point you in the right direction because I want you to be able to see and understand. I can tell you the folks on the Discord channel share that as well. Although sometimes you'll see somebody help a little bit more, a little bit less, but in general, that's the idea. Do check out the Discord channel today. Andrew Hutz, what are you doing here, man? You gonna take a test? Which test are you taking? I'm curious. Also, do keep in mind, because you're nice enough to show up here, we have 50% off bundles, ebook and practice questions. Here at Total Seminars, we call our practice questions the Total Tester, okay? So let's say you're interested in Network Plus. Head over to www.totalsem.com, go over to the merchant area, grab the Network Plus ebook, not the hardcover, get the ebook, and then get the Network Plus Total Tester. The N10008 is the current one. And put those into your cart. And just before you check out, type in JAWS, J-A-W-S. JAWS, like Richard Keel in the James Bond movie. Nobody? Nobody? Okay. I mean like who did JAWS? Ba bum 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 bum. You're gonna need a bigger boat. Anyway, type in JAWS and you get 50% off. It's an absolutely incredible deal. Take advantage of it. Yes, and of course, join my LinkedIn. I always love having folks on LinkedIn. I'm actually fairly active on LinkedIn. If you're shy, just go ahead and follow me. But just because you're nice enough to show up here, feel free to connect with me as well. It's always good to have folks there. So guys, it's good. Moonraker, thank you, Andrew Hutz. You're the best. He was Mr. Larson on Happy Gilmore? Really? Richard Keel? The Price is Wrong, Bob. Oh, Happy Gilmore. That movie was good. Reeves, can we charge for support there? You absolutely can, man. Good luck with that, though. Alucard, I want to learn how to use a network monitoring tool like Nagios, Zabbix, or Spiceworks. Would you say the learning curve is pretty easy if I have the Net Plus? I would say that you would not be able to use those tools without the Net Plus or the equivalent knowledge. They assume that you know a lot. And Zabbix is not the place to learn what port DNS uses. You know what I mean? Yes, the answer is yes. So which ones did you pick there again? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Nagios, never used it. Zabbix is okay. I'm not a fan of Spiceworks. I'm not against it, but I'm just not a big fan. I don't know if you need a certification Alucard with those. Usually when we're talking about individual applications, unless it's somebody like Microsoft or somebody like that, generally, you put that skill like you're really good at Zabbix, and that's going to show up in the tech interview. And you're usually pretty good. Dave Rush, we use CompTIA. We're not still using CompTIA, are we, Dave? See, I don't even look at CompTIA as a tool like that. To me, CompTIA is just a front end, but I'm not going to get in a big argument with that. Okay, guys, so I know we're going to cut a little short today unless we get some more questions. So I'm going to stall here for a minute and give everybody an opportunity. If you have any more questions, this is the moment to do it. Come on, people, ask me a question. Dear, what scripting language is the easiest to learn? Python? No, not necessarily. I would probably say PowerShell is easier than Python, and if you're in a Microsoft environment, far more useful. However, Python is the lingua franca of scripting languages, and I would recommend you check that out, absolutely. Okay. All right, well, guys, it looks like we got a slower day today. We will be back Wednesday at 2 o'clock, so be ready for that. But I need to confer with Dave Rush and see what can happen here. You guys got to keep in mind, if I do a show at 6 o'clock, I'm literally asking Dave Rush to come after work. We're going to need you to work on a Saturday, Dave. That'll be great. So I can negotiate. Dave, I can do it without you, but it's so much more fun with you. We could probably out a Sweet Talk Tolowit into moving up to producer status or something like that. But do keep in mind that almost certainly not 2 days from now, but 9 days from now, we will be at a new time, and I'll make an official announcement this Wednesday after I get a chance to see what Dave wants to do. How much is the increase on the CompTIA A+ test? Jeremy, I don't know. And that's actually a really good question and an answer I should have. Dave, Andrew Hutz, do either of you guys know off the top of your head what the price raise is going to be? We've got like 4 more days before the price raise comes. And guys, do keep in mind that Andre, Saturdays, man, I love you guys, but Saturdays are my time. Do keep in mind that you can still get discount vouchers from Total Seminars for a broad cross-section of CompTIA products, and you got 4 more days. If you're on the fence about this, folks, you probably ought to go ahead and pull the trigger, because I guarantee it's going to be 5%, if not a 10% increase. It could be more. Like I tell the IRS every year, I don't know. But anyway, do keep that in mind. All right, so all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and boogie out a little bit earlier today. Sorry about the rants. I always worry about that, but I'm getting ranty in my dotage. So, until somebody, turns off the lights, I'm going to keep being a little ranty. I think people like talking about it. I know I do. But we will be back to you. So I am out the door, guys. I am leaving. I'm gone. I will be back next Wednesday at 2 o'clock Central Daylight Time. What is it? Standard? Still Standard Time. Yeah. Central Standard Time. And until then, this is your little Uncle Mikey saying bye-bye. Bye, kids.